I was initially excited to begin this essay because I've always been a huge proponent of women's reproductive rights. At the beginning of this unit, I had no idea that Margaret Sanger had any bad work associated with her, so when I encountered the three websites at the beginning of the unit, I was really surprised. It did not surprise me to find out that several of these websites were anti abortion propaganda. It makes sense that these organizations would want to focus on Sanger's alleged association with the eugenics movement to push their own agendas. But when conducting my own research, I thought it'd be a good idea to go to the Planned Parenthood webpage itself first so that I could be sure I was dealing with the company's own words to begin with. On the Planned Parenthood webpage, I encountered many links to primary sources written by Sanger herself, and these proved to be much more enlightening on her true views than a lot of the secondhand sources because they were pretty biased. I found it interesting that Peter Engelman seemed to understand her association with this movement but did not reprimand her for it. He said in the history of birth control on page 133 that the majority of Sanger's public support of eugenics stemmed from a skillful work of propaganda, which was designed to appeal to the scientist for aid, to arouse that interest, which will result in widespread research and investigation. I also found that Sanger's support for eugenics was a mere political strategy to gain support of another group of like minded people, other than the people who already supported birth control. After reading Engelman's political strategy, After reading Engelman's work, I focused more on Sanger's writings herself, particularly her letter on love or babies, one entitled Must the Negro Mother Choose? I found that in this letter her true views were brought to light, explaining clearly that her ultimate goal was to prevent the babies that were going to be born into bad circumstances. I don't believe that her support of eugenics stemmed from a racist background, merely that it was a fact of the time that African Americans lived in poorer conditions, so it made sense to provide them with preventative methods of birth control. I came to the ultimate conclusion that Margaret Sanger had been made out to be a racist by a lot of people for the main purpose of pushing their own pro life agendas. These people seemed extremely biased and like they were cherry picking a lot of the things that she had said to support their own views. Margaret Sanger, in my opinion, wanted nothing more than to support a woman's right to choose and protect unwanted or unneeded children from being born into a family that could not sufficiently raise them.